Hello, good morning everybody. My name is Leah from Project Revolution, where you can of course find me at www.barleycounselling.com. Today I want to talk to you about depression, but more importantly I want to give you a few little tips on how to be able to break free from depression. First, we kind of need to know what depression is, or what it feels like. So I liken it to a baseball bat to the gut. Boom! The minute you open your eyes, it's like that doom and gloom. The brain starts automatically recalling something negative from yesterday or a dream or whatever, but it starts a process straight away. It might be remembering, recalling a conversation that you had the day before with somebody where it didn't go particularly well, or maybe you pick out a part of it that you weren't happy with and you really start to ruminate with that. Now you're already in a very negative state anyway, because life hasn't been great for you. There's been a lot of external circumstances that have been going on for you that have created you to feel hopeless, worthless, but also your inner narrative has been supporting that notion as well. The longer you kind of feel like this, the more you judge yourself. And so it's this rolling stone that gathers moss. Now, depression isn't because you're broken. Depression isn't because you have had a failing and that you are irreparably incapable of being fixed. Now, of course, there's chronic depression, which is kind of a different thing, but today I just want to start talking to those people who have perhaps got themselves into a funk, and it becomes very real. Absolutely it does. When you are giving attention and focus over and over and over and over and over again to what's wrong with you, what's wrong with your life, what's wrong with everybody else, and comparing and despairing to the rest of the world. Can you imagine if you were doing that to a friend? If you were literally placing your friend in the corner and you were pushing all this information to them, how do you think they would feel? Where do you think their shoulders would be? How would they be standing? What would they be feeling? Now, you could make somebody feel like that within a few hours. But when you think about it, this is what's been going on in your world for weeks, months, sometimes even years. So, my darling, it's no wonder you're feeling defeated and as if you can't get out, that there are no chinks of light. But can I tell you, you can. And it starts really small, because you see what's happened is you've created, as we all do when we're doing this stuff, we've created new neural pathways that just make us more susceptible and much stronger in being able to recognize the negative or the pain or what's wrong. The stronger, the more that we do that, the stronger those muscles are. And so, of course, that builds momentum. And then when there's another little part of you that's desperately trying to find the positive, it feels overpowered, because it's like Popeye's right arm. It's done a lot of work, let me tell you. So this one is absolutely ripped. But the other side, the kind, the loving, the side that is compassionate to self, is a lot weaker because it's done a lot less work. So what our aim, what our pattern, what our goal is to start outweighing the strength of the muscle within the brain, so that we have what's called neuroplasticity, so that you are more in a chance of being able to build neural pathways and make happiness connections by physically making yourself stop and notice things that are good. And that feels really cranky in the beginning, and it feels really fake, let me tell you, and it feels very abnormal. Well, it will be, because sadly your normal is self-abuse, and we need to change that dynamic and make your normal self-love. Anything that is abnormal to you is going to feel uncomfortable, but it doesn't mean it's wrong, right? It's just abnormal to you, which in itself is super sad anyway. So let's retrain the brain. Let's create a new normal for you, which is to start to highlight and notice what is good. And let me tell you, clinical trials have shown and proved that if you do this for 4 to 5 days, your brain will literally start creating new neural pathways. And because of that, you will organically and naturally start to notice other things that are good about you, the world, your environment, and it will create these chemicals, these happy chemicals that give you what's called motivation. At the moment, you are running on all these kind of like cortisol chemicals, maybe adrenaline chemicals when you're getting into anxiety and fears. It's going to disable you and put you into freeze and make you incapable of action. Why? Because essentially we're animals, right? So if you are being given these danger chemicals, your brain just wants you to survive. So it will make you freeze and not move into action. Which is great if you know, in the age-old days when we were living in the jungle and there was woolly mammoths about, or villagers that wanted to come and burn our village down. But that's not what's happening today. And so this has become habitual, but self-defeatingly habitual. So like any bad habit, we have to put in a bit of work. Any bad habit, think about it, any bad habit you've got yourself wrapped up in, how hard is it to go cold turkey with it? You know, whether that's dieting, pushing yourself to go to the gym, stopping smoking, stopping swearing, whatever. It takes willpower, doesn't it? And it doesn't feel normal. But you push through. Well, that's the same here. Push through. You can make yourself feel better. I promise you. But it starts very small because I don't like to overwhelm clients. And I want you to have a gentle flow. In 4 to 5 days, you will already start getting the connections in your brain that will start motivating you to look organically, subconsciously, for other stuff that makes you feel good. Now, if you do this for 14 days, it has been clinically proven that the benefits of that will help you to feel happier in yourself, have less conflict in your relationships, generally feel better overall, and those results can last for up to 6 months. You do this for 28 days past, and you've got yourself a new habit, and you can start to really cultivate happiness. It means coming away from focusing and running down rabbit holes. And every time you feel that you want to go down the rabbit hole and start picking yourself apart or pulling instances from yesterday's experience to make yourself feel bad, or going onto Instagram and comparing, despairing, just so that you can feel bad about yourself. And none of us do this by choice, let me tell you. This is all learned behaviour, right? But you can unlearn this and learn a new one, a healthy, beautiful, self-serving behaviour. So whilst taking a pen and paper, we do 3 good things. We write out 3 good things about ourselves. Maybe 3 things that we have contributed to somebody else's life or world. And trust me, there's loads. Please don't be thinking to yourself, yeah, but I don't work in a charity shop or blah, blah, blah. But have you made somebody a cup of tea? Were you there to listen to somebody? What's good about you? Did you smile at somebody because you could tell that they felt a bit sad? You know, I want you to find these things about you that are there, but you cease to be able to acknowledge them because the brain is so fixated on pulling about all the negativity. Because again, it's a survival mechanism. There's not much benefit in looking what's good in the survival system, right? That's not going to keep you alive. But we're not that bare basic raw animals anymore. And this is about self-love. So I want you to, as a little tip, start doing 3 things. 3 things that are good about me, and actively go into yourself and acknowledge and see things that are good about you, of which there will be hundreds if you just stop to give yourself the opportunity to look. 3 things you have done that have contributed to somebody else's life or world, because depression has a huge sense of there's no value to me. I am worthless. I don't contribute anything at all, and that is a lie you are telling yourself. It's a cognitive distortion. There are plenty of times, ways and situations where you have contributed to somebody's life, albeit small or big. And it's about time you started seeing that and acknowledging that. Because let me ask you, what is the payoff for you consistently beating yourself up? What is the payoff? What value is it bringing to your life, my darling? And I know you know none. So I'm going to reinforce to you, you can come out of this. It's not going to be an overnight job. It's going to take diligence, and it's going to take discipline, and more importantly, consistency. You know, a lot of people try this stuff and then they give up after a few days. And they think to themselves, and then they say, see, that didn't work. Well, it's like anything. If you wanted to go to the gym and build muscle, would you expect to be ripped and tonk within a week? Of course not. Because you've been shown enough times that that kind of stuff takes time and effort. And if you keep religiously going and doing that and paying attention to that and investing in that, you will get the results. Well, your mental health is exactly the same. And I urge you, everything changes when the mental health is healthy. Everything. What you want, what you need, what you think you want, how you view yourself. So please, invest in yourself today. What have you got to lose? Do yourself a favour. Experiment. Give yourself 4-5 days of writing 3 good things about me, 3 things I've done to contribute to the world, and 3 things you're grateful for. That's it. That's all I'm going to ask you to do. Commit to that. Give it a try. Like I said, what is there to lose? And see if it has any results for you. See if it opens any doors. See if it starts to shift something. Guarantee it will. Take care.